Hello. Yes. This is gonna be a fun video, everyone. Hello. I'm gonna give it a good 1 minute before I start. Just in case anyone wants to view me live, giving you 60 seconds, and whoever doesn't jump on, you're just gonna have to listen to the recording. Rufus Du Sol. I love this artist. I love music. I love dancing. All right. All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. I believe today is March 25th, maybe, 2023. It's a beautiful day here in Seguin, Texas, here in the United States. This is your first time viewing my essence and my presence and feeling my energy. Welcome. My name is Justice Mangan, and I'm very honored, very humbled to be in this place in my life. And before we go any further and we talk about the most powerful mechanism that changes us into a new entity that will give us new talents, skills, and abilities and gifts throughout our entire multidimensional being. Before I go there, I want to pray. Because I want to make sure that I'm fully connected with God. I want to make sure that I'm fully connected to our divine celestial angelic brothers and sisters that live in the highest celestial realms of these dimensional locations, the celestial spheres of our multidimensional universe. So I'm praying and asking our divine oversoul parent that has masculine and feminine qualities and attributes, that is our true divine oversoul creator, that is our true mother and father. I pray for the strength and courage to humble myself in my own emotions, to make sure I speak with accuracy, effectiveness, and efficiency, and to speak with love and compassion, understanding and patience and empathy and grace and mercy for myself and for my brothers and sisters that are viewing not just the video, but also our brothers and sisters that are standing around me right now, that are earthbound souls, that are natural love souls that don't have a relationship with God, and other souls that have a beautiful relationship with God. There are a lot of soul brothers and sisters of ours that are in their spiritual body that are going to be listening to this conversation and watching me, and they're going to be observing me. They're going to be observing you, and potentially hundreds of thousands of people will be in this dimensional location observing this very, very important topic. So I pray for strength in my humility, and I pray for strength in my voice, to be courageous in speaking God's truth, not my truth, God's truth. And I know some people will be emotionally charged and emotionally triggered to project all kinds of anger and fear at me, whether you're in a physical reality or in a spiritual reality. I pray that you all gain the strength and courage to take full responsibility of any emotions that come up and not project any of your judgments or your unloving opinions and assumptions or attack me in any way. And I pray that you just challenge me, experiment with what I'm teaching, and experiment with your own personal relationship with God. So with that said, everyone, hello and welcome. So let me take a few breaths to kind of just calm the situation down a little bit. To be in this place as a teacher is a huge responsibility. If any child of God, if any son or daughter of God puts themselves as a public teacher, whether you're an author, whether you're teaching about personal development, spiritual development, whether you decide to go and become a shaman or a guru or an energy healer, anyone that places themselves as a teacher to teach about any type of topic and subject about anything, there's a big responsibility. And when you're a teacher, there are going to be multiple times where you're sharing faulty information. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this at first, but this is very important for everyone to understand. You'll know you've come across a really, really good teacher when they can humble themselves and fully take responsibility and ownership and accountability of knowing when they make mistakes or when they know they have to change their belief systems in front of an audience. You'll know you're in front of a really, really good teacher when the teacher knows that they don't know it all. When the teacher can change their belief systems, their teachings that might not be in harmony with the Almighty Source Creator's viewpoints and perspectives on how life really operates and functions in all realities. Because that teacher knows how to humble themselves and learn in the flow of teaching. You understand this? There are a lot of so-called high spiritual masters in the physical realm and also in the spiritual realm. They have such strong belief systems, such strong emotions. They're very stubborn, very prideful, and very rebellious in their religious teachings, in their spiritual teachings. And do you know that a lot of those teachings are not in harmony with God's truth? Not my truth, not your truth, but God's truth. And so I know that I don't know it all, but I'm willing to make mistakes and change my belief systems and change my teachings and apologize when I make mistakes and hold myself accountable in front of people, even on a video, even on social media platforms, in front of my children, in front of my partner, even when I'm speaking in front of tens of thousands of people. I'm speaking to tens of thousands of people right now because there are tens of thousands of spirits around me listening to this conversation. And it's very, very important for me to share this because the tens of thousands of people that are earthbound souls that are listening to me right now, they are getting a lot of their knowledge and wisdom from people in the spiritual realms that are not living in harmony with God's love and truth and her wisdom. So it's very important that you challenge everyone, that you challenge everything, that you challenge your parents, your teachers, your governments, your pastors, your gurus, your shamans. It's very important that you challenge, if you're a high medium, if you can communicate to spirits, it's very important that you challenge these spirits, that you challenge everyone that comes to you when you're in meditation and prayer, or when you're in an ayahuasca ceremony or a mushroom ceremony. You must challenge God. You must challenge everyone and ask deep questions. Because if you don't, you will get easily lost, confused, and distracted. with potential information and knowledge that is not absolute truth, coming from the viewpoints and the perspectives of God. So I want to talk about what changes us into a new entity, a new creature, a new being. How do we become reborn again? Now, these sayings, becoming reborn again, developing our consciousness, growing in soul evolution, expanding in love, raising our vibrational frequencies. These sayings have been around for thousands of years in many different cultures all across the world for a very, very long time. You and I, as sons and daughters, souls of the Almighty Source Creator, you and I have an opportunity to become perfected in God's love. You and I have an opportunity to become reborn again, to become Christ-like, to change our soul image into a new entity with infinite lights, colors, and sounds in our own geometric structure pattern in our soul. Because who you really are is a soul. God is a soul. So you were created in the image of the Creator at the soul level with masculine and feminine qualities and attributes. So, how do we become new entities? How have I been consistently changing and transforming consistently with strong commitments, loyalty, and dedication for the past 12 years? How can we become perfected and become at one with God in the physical body? What's the magic? What's the secret? So, let's start here. The greatest secret in this multidimensional universe that you're going to have to come figure out through your own spiritual measurements, the greatest secret is not knowledge. The greatest secret that you're going to have to come to figure out, becoming your own spiritual scientist, becoming your own guru and as your own healer. The greatest secret that you are going to come to figure out as you're receiving information, counsel, knowledge, and information and advice from other people in your own current law of attraction. The greatest secret that you will come to figure out on your own through personal experimentation is that there is a divine, loving entity that has masculine and feminine qualities and attributes, that is a God. It's a divine oversoul parent, our true divine mother and father that has created your soul. You, my beautiful soul family, are children of God. So the greatest secret is that even in religious organizations and spiritual communities, a lot of people have misrepresentations and misunderstandings of who God really is through the unloving assumptions and opinions and the unloving emotional filtering systems coming from humanity that create unloving religions, unloving holy books, unloving spiritual communities, unloving organizations coming from men and women in the physical realm and also in the spiritual realm, because these particular individuals are not willing to go through their personal shadow work. They're not willing to go through their personal dark vortex. They're not willing to emotionally feel through their repentance and forgiveness process by allowing themselves to fully feel all of their harm and pain that others have caused them and what they have caused to themselves, others, their environment, the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, and their own personal choices and decisions to remove themselves to having a personal, emotional, honest, high integrity relationship with the Almighty Source Creator. They are very self-reliant. They are not God-reliant. There are billions of souls lost, confused, and distracted about the true connection to a divine mother, a divine father, that you and I can have a personal relationship with. It's emotional, everyone. It's all emotional. When you're working with the highest divine laws of this multidimensional universe, you will come to figure out and understand that the highest laws work with feelings and emotions, not energy, vibrations, and frequencies, not physical mineral deficiencies, not the physical laws or the spiritual laws. But when you start working with the highest divine laws with God on an emotional level, you are working with the highest laws of love with God. The law of repentance, the law of forgiveness, the law of compensation, the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction. When you're working it emotionally with God, and you are emotionally feeling your emotions, and you're growing your emotional intelligence, and you're growing your emotional knowledge and wisdom, and you're having this emotional connection and dialogue with the Almighty Source Creator that knows you more than you know yourself. You are working with the highest divine celestial angelic laws that govern and operate your soul, that govern and operate the laws of this multidimensional universe in every plane of existence, in every dimensional location of existence, in every celestial realm of existence. Whether you're in a very, very dark dimensional location, or whether you're in the highest, lightest, brightest, vibrant, radiant, celestial condition of this multidimensional universe. These divine laws operate in our life, in every moment of our life, to show her children, to show God's children what they are emotionally suppressing and avoiding in their pain and traumas, and what they're emotionally suppressing and avoiding in their pure passions, pure pleasures, pure joys, and pure happiness. Because it's all linked up together. It's all holistic. It's all linked up physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, at the soul level. So, to become a new entity and to become reborn again in a physical body, you're going to have to come figure it out on your own that there is a God, that you can have a personal relationship with. It's the most important relationship in my life. There are billions of souls all across the physical and spiritual realm that believe that they are God. They are not God, but they believe it with all of their mind and heart. They're very intellectual. A lot of these people are on a high natural love path in the physical and spiritual realms. They've created the Eastern philosophies, the Eastern religions. They've called themselves gurus and shamans, energy healers, archangels, children of God that are receiving the love of God, that are living in the highest celestial realms of this multidimensional universe. They have no name. They don't call themselves by any name. They are the most humble souls in this multidimensional universe. They live in humility. They call themselves children of the Creator, souls of God. They don't call themselves energy healers. They don't call themselves enlightened ones. They don't call themselves spiritual masters, gurus, shamans. They call themselves children of God because they know that they are not God, because they know that God is a separate entity, just like you and I are separate entities with a separate personality. Yes, God has a personality. She is the most loving entity that lives outside of this multidimensional universe. Do I know where she came from? No. Maybe one of these days she'll tell me, but I don't know where she came from. But I do know she's an entity. I've felt and experienced in my awake state and also in my sleep state the affection and the warmth and the love of her personality as she's emotionally and energetically holding me when I was in some deep, deep, dark pain, where I was confronting myself and holding myself accountable in my own sins. So what does sin mean? Some of you are probably going to be emotionally charged by that word and emotionally triggered, but sin basically means, from Greek terminology or Latin terminology, missing the mark of love. That's what sin means, okay? It means you're missing the mark of love. You're living out of harmony of God's love and truth, and you're not living in harmony with God's viewpoints and perspectives in life. So you're living in sin. Is there generational family sin? Yes. Because each and every one of us, the moment we are incarnated in our mother's womb, we were bombarded emotionally. We emotionally attracted these emotional injuries, or you can call them emotional wounds, or you can call them sin, the moment we were incarnated in our mother's womb. From our mother and father, from our family generational bloodline, all the way back to the very first soul couple that was created on this earth plane. Their names were Aman and Amen. Aman and Amen. And the first original main sin that was created on this particular earth plane came from Aman and Amen. Now, Aman and Amen, they live in the highest celestial realms of this multidimensional universe. They're soulmates. They're at one with God. But they had to go through their own personal repentance and forgiveness process because they used the gift of free will, God's gift of free will. When they were created on this particular earth plane, they chose to remove themselves and separate themselves from God. And they chose to become self-reliant. They chose to become their own God. That was the first original sin on this earth plane. And that's why we have such destructive, corruptive behaviors in our environment. Because there are billions of people living life being self-reliant. They remove themselves and separate themselves from being God-reliant, and they've chosen to become their own God. And this is a sin. You're living out of harmony of the ultimate source creator's love and truth, from her perspectives and viewpoints on what love really means. And people are choosing to become their own God. Now, when people choose to become their own God, what happens? They live in a damaged emotional filtering system. Okay? They live in a damaged creative thinking, intellectual philosophy system. And so these people will create their own religions. They will create their own organizations. They will create their own spiritual modalities, methods, techniques, and spiritual practices to get people to follow them. And a lot of these people have no idea that they have emotions inside of them that they're choosing to become their own God, because they're so self-reliant, they're so stubborn, prideful, and rebellious, and they enjoy living in their spiritual facade. They enjoy living in their spiritual arrogance. They enjoy having people look up to them, having power, control, and domination, and greed in the spiritual movements, in spiritual philosophies, in spiritual ceremonies, rituals, methods, modalities, and practices. And this is why we have unloving governments, unloving school systems, unloving politicians, unloving royal empires all across the world. This is why we have unloving prison systems, judicial systems. This is why we have unloving corporations, businesses, and monopolies that feed off of controlling information, controlling knowledge, controlling money. And then what they do is, when you have this type of addiction of power, control, and greed, then you're destroying the environment. You don't care about anything else but your own selfishness, your self-centeredness, and your greed. You only care about what you can get, what you can take, and what you want, what you need, because you have these feelings inside of you that you're so self-reliant, and you feel like you're your own God, that you'll do anything and say anything and behave in any way to get what you want. And if you don't get what you want, you get angry. You get passive aggressive, because deep down inside, you don't want to feel your emotional injuries. So then we live in addictions, we live in attachments, we live in codependency issues, mannerisms, and we destroy our world. We destroy our world in every facet, in every aspect, in every area of destroying our world, because we're selfish, self-centeredness, egotistical, arrogant children of God that are living in a lot of stubbornness and pridefulness. And it hurts. You can all see it. You can all feel it. So, how do we become reborn again? How do we change ourselves into becoming a new entity? How do we become reborn again? Well, when you figure out that God exists and that you're having a deep, intimate, emotional, personal relationship with her, and you're understanding what prayer really means by just emotionally being honest about how you feel with God about everything and everyone, you will start longing from a deep, genuine, sincere place. You will start opening up your heart. You will start opening up every atom, every cell, every particle of your physical body, of your spiritual body, of your soul. You will start opening up emotionally and longing and praying for God's love to transform the condition of your soul. Now, this love will enter you through an energetic cord. It's a golden energetic cord that will emotionally fill you up and transform you at the soul level. And it will change you on the spiritual body and on your physical body. It's actually God's love that comes from outside of you, that comes from a divine entity that is separate from us, because she's waiting for her children to humble themselves and using the gift of their free will to make choices and decisions, to investigate and research and experiment with God. So she's waiting for her children to humble themselves in their emotions. She's waiting for her children to humble themselves in emotional prayer. And she's waiting for you to ask for God's love and truth to transform the condition of your soul. Because it's actually God's love that comes outside of us, that enters us, our soul, that changes us into a new entity. It will perfect you in her love, in his love. You will become reborn again. You will become Christ-like. And everything that Yeshua ben Joseph did 2,000 years ago, you will be able to do, and 1,000 times more in this physical body. Now that's my main priority and objective in life. My main priority and objective, my main goal, is to become at one with God in this physical body, is to become at one with my soulmate in this physical body before I transition into another dimensional location based on the condition of love within my own soul. And we call that the spiritual world. And each and every one of us have this same opportunity. But each and every one of us has the gift of free will. So we all make choices and decisions. You can choose to experiment with what I'm teaching you, or you can choose not to experiment with what I'm teaching you. Either way, I'm okay. Either way, it's good. Because I don't have any control or neediness or demands or expectations. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm not here to have any hidden agendas. I'm not here to try to bargain with you. I don't want your money. I work on donations. I do this for free. I don't want your money. You know, I don't have any hidden agendas. Like, I teach from the heart. I teach with love. I teach with purity. And I wasn't always like this. And the reason why I'm like this, and the reason why I've transformed and changed is because I received so much love from God that it's changed me spiritually and physically. It's changed the way I think, the way I feel, and how I interact with my soul brothers and sisters in the physical realm and also in the spiritual realm. Because I made a full commitment to process and fully feel through all of my sins. I held myself accountable, and I'm still holding myself accountable in this present time in my own personal repentance and forgiveness process. I am not waiting for my soul brother, Jesus, to save me. I'm not waiting for a guru or a shaman to save me from the sins inside of me. I'm not waiting for a church or a religious pastor. I'm not waiting for an ayahuasca ceremony or a mushroom ceremony. I'm not purchasing CBD or smoking marijuana every day, trying to get saved by another spirit or a medium or a psychic, trying to get saved by someone that knows about astrology or energy work or Tai Chi or acupuncture. Now, I'm not against these practices. I'm not against these modalities. I'm not against these methods. But I'm not waiting to be saved. God has simplified the process where a child could understand this. Do you understand? Where a child could understand this. I have two sons. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. And they understand how to process their emotions without hurting themselves, each other, others, or their environment. Men and women that do not process their emotional sins inside of them and go through their own personal accountability and the repentance and forgiveness process, what they do is they overthink the process. They have an emotional damaged filtering system. And anytime you have an emotional damaged filtering system and you're living in anger and you're living in fear and you're living in grief, you will create overcomplicated practices, rituals, ceremonies, modalities, religions, spiritual movements, and philosophies to overcomplicate the process of healing. And you will stagnate. You will degrade. You will get stuck. You will only go so far because you're stagnant and trying to get energy healing and trying to raise your vibrational frequency, which is all true. But that is just one level of law of existence throughout this multidimensional universe. People get stagnant on mineral deficiencies. They get stagnant on the physical laws. They get stagnant on just focusing on the physical sicknesses and diseases, overweight issues, the physical issues. They only focus on nutrition. They only focus on fasting. They only focus on detoxification. That is a physical law. And then eventually they're like, oh my goodness, the pain won't go away. I might be losing weight. The sickness might went away. I might have became a plant-based vegan and, I've cured some of my chronic diseases and sicknesses, but there's still pain. There's an emotional reason why there's still pain, because you're only working on physical laws. Now, some people, they start progressing and start learning a little bit more about higher laws, and they start getting into energy work. And they might go to an energy healer or a Reiki master. They might get into meditation. They might do an ayahuasca ceremony. So they get into energy healing, and then they start noticing when they go to an energy healer of any type that they start feeling better. But then I also start noticing that the pain is still there and it keeps coming back because you're only working with an energy level of law. So you're working on mineral deficiencies. You're understanding, okay, it's not about mineral deficiencies. It's not about protein. It's not about carbohydrates. It's not about calories. It's not really about, it all works together. I'm glad I'm changing up my lifestyle and my diet. And and energy's real. Vibrations and frequencies are real. Lights, colors, and sounds and geometric patterns, they're real. That's part of the multidimensional universe and the makeup and the framework and the maintenance and the cleansiness and the organization of how this multidimensional universe operates and functions. But why am I still in mental pain? Why am I still in psychological pain? Why am I still in depression? Why am I not living in my true joys, passions, and happiness? Because you are still not working with the highest divine laws that govern your soul. And these laws are the laws of love that come from God. These laws are the laws of love that come from God. And if you're not holding yourself accountable in your own shadow work, in your own dark vortex work, in your own personal repentance and forgiveness process, in the highest laws of love with God, the pain that's inside of you will keep continually to come up for you. You will continue to grow older. You will continue to live in suffering in your own slow self-suicide. You will continue to torture yourself. And if you continue to do this to yourself, you will continue to do this to others, animals, insects, and your environment, because you're not working with the highest laws of love and repentance and forgiveness, and you're not taking personal responsibility to fully feel all of your emotional pain and harm that others have caused you and that you have caused yourself and others. But once you start doing this, and once you start receiving and praying for a love outside of you, and you start receiving this love, it will change you into a new entity. You will become reborn again. Your consciousness will raise, your vibrational frequency will raise in God's love. You'll be fully connected to God's divine Holy Spirit, which is an electrical golden cord that will be connected to your soul, your spiritual body, and physical body. And you will slow down the aging process. You will look like you're 25 when you're 105. You'll be perfectly physically fit. Your physical features will change to become more in sync and in symmetry with geometric shapes of patterns. You will find your soulmate and you will attain more physical, spiritual, and soul gifts. You will strengthen your mediumship abilities, your channeling abilities, your healing abilities. Your public speaking skills will get better. Your listening skills will get better. And you'll be able to feel everything and everyone in every moment of your life. And it doesn't matter if that soul brother and sister of yours is living in the physical realm or any other dimensional location throughout this multidimensional universe. You will gain these gifts. You will gain the gifts of flight, levitation, telekinesis, teleportation, remote viewing. All of these are gifts will be attained to you as you're receiving more of God's love. And then you will be part of a divine solution, a divine answer to create a utopian paradise heaven on this earth plane. And that's why we're going through some massive changes and shifts and transformations and awakenings throughout this earth plane, because there are a lot more people in the physical body on this earth plane experimenting with what I'm just teaching you. And a lot of God's children are receiving God's love. And anytime you're receiving God's love, it will change not just you, but when we change collectively together in the humanity of the soul, it will create more loving weather conditions. Animals will stop eating each other. We will stop eating animal flesh. We will stop eating toxic, poisonous foods. We'll stop drinking poisonous drinks. We'll stop smoking poisonous cigarettes and the vaping. We will take care of the oceans. We will love our animal friends and our ocean friends and all of the sea creatures and the fishes and, the coral and all of the life and energy that needs to be respected and honored and revealed as sacred. We will create a utopian paradise world. Everything will collapse. And then new leaders, new divine leaders will take on these avenues of corporations, monopolies, and governments. And there will be new policies, new laws, new rules that will change to live more in harmony with God's viewpoints and perspectives, with her love and truth. That's what's happening in this world. So when people are looking at the stars and astrology and everything that's happening on an energetic level, on a physical level, with the lights and the colors and, the changing of the cycles and seasons, that's all happening in junction because of the main source, God. It's her love that's coming down to this earth plane because her children are using their free will to long and ask for this love to change them into a new entity, because her children are going through their own personal repentance and forgiveness process, and it's changing everything and everyone around us in our environment. And it's also changing throughout the multidimensional universe. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful you are. So, if you enjoyed this video, everyone, please share it with your family and friends. Upload it, download it, share it in groups. If you need assistance or support in any way, y'all know I specialize in physical detoxification and nutritional replenishment. Y'all know I specialize in emotional detoxification. I've been a celestial soul coach, coaching people how to heal themselves for 12 years. I own my own donation-based healing services, working on donations, and I will continue to work on donations, because if I continue to teach God's truth should be taught for free. I love you all so very much. Enjoy this beautiful weekend. And I think I'm going to go swimming now and rest up my voice. I love you all so very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.